Blessings to everybody at the start of the year. My name is Lucette and this is Awakened Life. The start of this year has really been a slow, very hard work slog, and the weather has not helped. Here in the UK, we've had freezing temperatures, we've had snow on the ground and a lot of rain, very big storms coming our way, and it's just been really hard to get back into that routine of working, of hobbies, of house, of just even eating healthy again after the huge amounts of food that you eat over Christmas and Yule Christmas, New Year's Eve. I mean, we've had a lovely, wonderful Christmas. Both of my daughters came over, my grandson and my mother came from Costa Rica to come and stay with us. So the house was full, which is what we built in. This past year in 2025, we built an extension and renovated, and it's been quite an upheaval where everything went into storage. I've only just recently got my books back from storage, and so there's been a lot of changes, and it all culminated in having a wonderful Christmas period. So out of all that wonderful time, relaxed and eating a lot of food, then comes trying to get back into that routine. Not just the mundane life, work and fitness and health and all of that, but also a magical practice, getting that back for the year ahead. So I thought, and this new format for Awakened Life, it was a very impromptu last minute decision that I made last week when I made the previous vlog. And I decided, yeah, why not? I am just going to talk to camera about what I'm up to every week and try and upload this every weekend as the year comes by. I'm hoping that I'll be able to maintain that routine. Certainly that's the aim. Even if it is a tiny, small one, I will try and always do that. So what I want to talk about, first of all, is getting back into that routine, the magical routine. I run my own coven, and as HPS, it is down to me to do all the admin stuff. People think that running a coven is glamorous. Oh, it must be amazing. And yes, it absolutely can be, and it is. But also you have to remember that I'm responsible for the admin, for the food rota, because we share a meal and everybody brings a plate. I organise the ritual, or tell who is going to organise the ritual. I clean the house, I make all the beds, make sure everything's clean, and clean beds for people who are staying over the night, because some of my covenants live quite far away and they have to stay over the night. Dust the ritual room, which currently needs dusting. But in the admin, the boring stuff that you have to do also is planning what training we're going to do for a coven. What do we want to learn over the coming year? Because I do believe that being part of a group, and not all covens work like this is just my particular coven. I like people to keep learning. I like people to grow more, and you don't have to be an expert at everything. In our coven, we have members that they've got particular interests, and they will do deep dives into their favorite subject, which I ask them to be fair. Choose a subject, go into deep dive, learn. But the trick is you have to come back and teach the rest of the coven. And not necessarily everything, but just give the good summary, a good introduction into whatever is is the specific subject. And that way we all help. We all know something about all the different subjects, and it could be that sparks inspiration in your own practice, and that, I think that is how people grow. That's how Coven group grows, and it's through learning. So what I've been doing this week, apart from mundane world and everything else, I've been planning the year ahead on what we're going to learn this year. Setting out the dates as well, calculating the dates in between my my other stuff. I'm actually going to be doing yoga teacher training because I do practice a lot of yoga. So that's taking up some of my weekends, and that on top of Coven coming, that's another set of weekends. And so it's planning the just basically logistics, just planning all of those things for the year ahead, what books we're going to read, what books can I recommend to Coven members that we're going to read together, and yeah, so that's what I've been doing this week. On top of that, I suppose I'll talk about what I did towards the end of 2025. And you probably have seen it. I'm an Instagram person, so I do a lot of doom scrolling on Instagram, which I'm going to try and do less of. But you would have seen these 12 wishes for the 12 nights from Yule to New Year's Day, which in fact you do 13 wishes, that's what you do. And for every night from Yule until it's 12 days, 12 nights later, you burn one of the wishes, which you leave to the universe, cosmos, or the divine to do for you, leave up to them. And then every night I took a tarot card out that represents every month of the following year. And then the very last one that is left, number 13, is the wish that you work on for the year ahead. So I did that. It was interesting, never done it before, so I decided to do it. It doesn't really take that long, so maybe make sure you put that as something you want to do for December this 2026. I will certainly do it again. I enjoyed it. For my tarot cards, because I like to be special, I didn't do one tarot card, I did two from my two favourite tarot card sets that I have. And for January, it was just interesting that with January I managed to get the devil for both decks. What are the chances of that? Reading it as you wish. I know I have my own reading and how I see it more as a mindset, and this week has been that mindset of slog, of hard work, of when you get that sense of imposter syndrome, of feeling constrained and all that. So in a way, it does fit the cards, and it has been hard work for this last week. But that is when I find when I get into that sort of mentality of closing in on yourself, I tend to go to the forest a lot. So what I'm just about to show you is footage that I took on my mobile when I was walking the dog in the forest. So just as a small note, it is absolutely freezing. Maybe I shouldn't have driven to the forest, but I did. It's not far from my house anyway, and I drove very slowly. The plus side, it's empty. There's not that many people walking around. There's lots of evidence that other people have been walking around here with their dogs. But this is my favorite path. Here we are at a T-junction, and a path over there, and you can see a path over here, a path over there, and a path over from where I come from. Just here, I love it. Because sometimes I take a completely different route. Sometimes I'll go that way, other times down there, other times I go straight ahead. I quite like, I know this forest like the back of my hand, so I don't have any qualms about where to go, but I like to change it up. Also because it keeps my dog in check. He has to constantly look back and check where mummy is. But this is a beautiful place. This is one of the trees, very unusual tree in this forest. And the reason I love it is that it's clearly broke or had a thunder, maybe something hit it, but it still lives. All of those, as you can see, just about, you see, they've got little buds because it will grow leaves when spring comes. Clearly used to be an old tree, but still managed to survive whatever it went through, and it still lives. It is a beautiful oak tree, by the way, and I just love it. I love the fact that it's unusual and it's beautiful, and it sits there in the middle. It was essentially surrounded by pines, and it still lives. So I thought you'd like to appreciate that. So if you have seen from my footage in the forest, you know, I find it really peaceful, very re-energizing, and I tend to do a lot more of those walks out in the forest when I'm feeling like I really need a recharge. I find it really recharging, like somebody just basically gives you that extra energy to go forward and to put things into perspective. When you have such a wonderful time before and then you come back to the mundane world, you usually get that sort of slump. And I call that my first week of January, the slump of suddenly not having the girls around, not having my grandson around, not having my mother around, and even my husband being with me all the time, you know. So that was like suddenly the house was empty. And that's probably what didn't help. Definitely didn't help. But finding new things to do, I suppose, helps. And using a sort of magical, wonderful energy that you can do from just going for a walk, or from meditating, or from setting a candle, a lovely candle, and doing some of the magical work to work on yourself. Because you need that. You need to have a level of peace within you to be able to then move forward and help others. And as a HPS of the Coven, that's what you always have to do. Do a self-check and make sure that you're feeling good to be able to then go forward and think, right, how can I help other people? How can I move forward and help others? And I do think that is important. Even if you're not running a group or anything else, you check within yourself first. And then as soon as you feel good in yourself, then you're able to help other people, your friends, your family, in general, even at work, to be more productive, especially if you enjoy your work. Another thing that I did towards the end and beginning of this year, actually I did it on the 2nd and 3rd of January. If you know who Jason Miller is, he wrote several books, very good books. You can join his newsletter. And in his newsletter, about twice a year, I think it's about twice a year, at the end of the year, and then there's another one halfway through. He sends out this ritual, this spell work that you can do, and you have like a limited time frame to do it. And this was from the 29th of December to the 3rd of January. And it was to set your goals for the following year, and then you're asking Hecate and Helios to help you to sort of recharge and power that goals to help you through the work, so you're more successful through those goals. I find that really useful because you have to sit down and actually set those goals, those intentions for the year ahead, which really does help to remove that sort of slump of January, that sloggy, slump, wintry, dark grey mindset of January. And having set those goals, because you have to sit down and and actually think about it. It is not a wish for this and I'm just going to leave it to the gods to do and I'm going to do no work. That's not how it works. That's not really how spell works. But more on that maybe in the future. You set those goals and you do the work with the great big push from behind, from the divine. And that's what I did. I did the ritual. I actually wrote it all by hand. I've got my little letter there, which I'm going to keep, and then I'm going to read it at the end of the year and see how I fared with my goals. So that was quite useful. So yeah, that's what I've been doing this week. It's already quite a lot, I feel. Other than that, what am I reading at the moment? I am reading fiction at the moment. I belong to a local book club that I've joined, and I'm reading this very weird book that's been so long, called, what is it called? I'm not really enjoying it, as probably you can tell, because I can't even remember. Oh yeah, Alchemized. It's called Alchemized by Sen-Lin Yu. Hopefully I'm saying that right. It's a very long book. It's what you call very dark. This is the first time I ever read a dark fiction. Wouldn't go back and read anything like it again. I mean, if you enjoy that type of thing, and I know this book is very popular and it's like rates 5 or 4.5 and above, and that's just not for me. When I read fiction, I suppose I like something a bit lighter than that. The other fiction that I'm reading, because every now and again I have to stop Alchemized and then read something completely different. And I am listening to the Torrent Witches book set from Audible. It's actually, if you have Audible, it's in your Plus catalogue and it's free, and it's like 65 hours. It's 10 books. So, and it is just... That book, that fiction, is a combination between Midsummer Murders, Death in Paradise, they're sort of UK crime dramas, but really softy crime dramas, mixed with The Good Witch, the Netflix series that you can see with The Good Witch, with a bit of practical magic thrown in. So it's basically witches resolving crimes. Quite amusing. It's just an amusing. It passes time, and I tend to listen to that book when I'm sewing. I do a lot of sewing, and it is just easy listening and more light-hearted. And I've been listening to that. I'm also at night when I go to bed, I'll read. I've got from a local bookstore. I got a book called Witching Hour, Ghostly Tales, and they are, every chapter is a different story written by different people, and so it's all about ghosts, and I quite enjoy that actually. Again, completely different from the others. Yeah, I do tend to have a lot of books at the same time that I'm reading. I enjoy that, the variety, I suppose. It keeps me on my toes. But I'll be very pleased once I've finished Alchemized, and I'm and that's it. I'm just not going to read anything like that again. So I am enjoying that sort of journey. Mind you, I've been unfair on Alchemized, I know. It is good to read different things, and joining this local book club has taught me to read something different, from a different genre that I would have never read before. And it has pushed that sort of side. But also I know now that I don't want to read this book ever again. Whereas other books I've reread several times. I've reread all of Terry Pratchett, the whole Discworld. I've reread them 3 times now, all of the books, because I love them. But you know what I mean. It's like I've read it, gets shelved, never again. Yeah, and as for moving forward over the next week or so, I'm getting back into that sort of yoga routine and meditating. I've slacked a bit with my meditation, but it comes back again because I'm teaching my cover members Hermetics. So we do that every 2 weeks or via Zoom, where we're doing sort of series of meditations, which to do with Hermeticism. If there are any questions you have for me, anything that you want to know more about within the magical practice or my Wiccan practice, feel free to send me the questions, and I will do my best to talk about them in the videos or the week ahead. And then, yeah, there's plans ahead, positive plans ahead. And I think this new vlog format that I'm giving you now is how it's going to stay for the foreseeable future for Wiccan life. I'm still trying to get used to talk to the camera. It's not something I've been very used to. When I've did all the meditations before, it was easier because it was just my voice and I was just guiding you through paths. And those meditations will forever be there. They will stay on. Practice them, do them over and over again. You know, I will always encourage you to meditate. In future, over the coming months, I have thought about doing live or Zoom meditations where people can join me to do that. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure I'm going to work out whether it can happen or not. If you're interested, let me know in the comments, and we'll see how it goes. At this moment, I'm just treating 1 week at a time as I work through my magical practice, my spiritual practice, my meditations, and yoga. I mean, believe it or not, yoga is actually a spiritual practice. It's not just about the being bendy and doing exercise, which is what most people think, but more on that in the future. So I hope most of you have had a good start of the year. If not, try to go for a walk in a park or a forest or the beach. If you haven't got any of those nearby, sit and meditate, light a candle and meditate. And if that's still even harder, in a piece of paper, just write down what your goals are for this year. What you want to leave behind, put it in a different piece of paper and burn it. What you want the goals for this year, write it down, put it under a candle that you will light every now and again when you're feeling down or when you're feeling that you're not there yet or you're not achieving. Light the candle, read your goals again, meditate, and always move forward, because there is no point in looking back. What happens has happened, and we always move forward. It's how we are now that we change what's to come in the future. So I do wish you a very good start of the year, and I will see you again next week to see what I'm up to magically, health, and what am I reading, because I've set a new reading list for Coven and I will be reading that over the next few weeks. But until next time, merry meet, merry part, and merry meet again.